Matters. I'm here on Mr. Zamudio Morchenko, as well as here on Laura Lee Lindaman. I do have Mr. Zamudio Morchenko with me.
Oh, Lindaman. Okay. You're
Yeah.
here on behalf of Laura Lee?
Laura Lee Lindaman, yes. And she is not the responding party, but I've been retained by her.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one I was missing. I knew I had something going on. Okay, so I've had, let's see, I got Allison Arnold. All right, so I've had Mr. and Mrs. Soto in my Mr. and Mrs. Soto in my waiting room for a long time. So I'm going to take them first, and then I'll take yours, Mr. Rains.
Certainly.
Okay. Okay, this is in the matter of Monica Marie Soto versus Demetrio Gabriel Soto, file number 2024-51450DS. I have Mark A. Brugman, P66065, appearing on behalf of the Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office. This is the date and time for entry of a judgment of support and paternity. Ms. Soto, have you received a copy in the mail of the proposed judgment? Why is she not responding? Can you hear me, Monica? All right, so she doesn't seem to be able to hear me. So I'm going to send her a chat. She might need to disconnect. Just send a chat. You seem unable to hear us. Are you connected to Bluetooth? All right, Miss Underwood, let me get Miss.
Hello?
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So Ms. Soto, did you receive a copy of the proposed judgment of paternity and support?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Mr. Soto, did you receive a copy of the proposed judgment of paternity and support?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and ma'am, have you had an opportunity to read it? And do you understand all the terms listed in it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so there are two minor children. Are you and Mr. Soto currently married?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're living together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so okay, and Mr. Soto, all right, so Mr. Brugman, they're currently married, so you're not getting divorced or anything, are you?
Your Honor. No, ma'am. We reconciled our marriage.
You reconciled, okay.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Mr. Brugman, I'm assuming that we're getting some aid from the state in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. And then in this matter, what's happened, the history of the case is we had our case filed and then Mr. Soto filed for divorce. We dismissed the case and then it was then we had to refile the case because of that. And then he filed for divorce again. And then we were about to dismiss it again, and then they reconciled. So the problem is it appears from the pleadings that there is some sort of playing of the system before these cases get filed, and we just want to make sure that they're that it's a true situation where we're not just getting the case dismissed and then having us to refile it again and again.
Okay, so Ms. Soto, you and your husband have reconciled?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Brugman, how would you like to proceed?
At this point, if they're reconciled, are they currently living together?
They just said they were. Yep.
Okay, then at this point we have to dismiss the case again. And
okay, very good. All right, so we will dismiss this again. So I'm very glad to hear that you two are working hard to reconcile and to save your marriage, because I think that is one of the most difficult and most important things you can do for the benefit of your children, barring like situations where there's domestic violence or abuse. But I wish you both the best of luck, and thank you. We'll dismiss the case. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're all set. All right,
Okay.
so Miss Underwood, where is Miss Ladd? Where did she go? Well, there's the jail. All right, I'm gonna help you two out of here because I know it's hard to figure out how to leave Zoom.
Okay.
All right. Miss Ladd, if you are in the jail room, you need to tell them to start video and audio. I'll send a link, but I don't know if it works. You guys at the jail. All right, so Ms. Underwood, I've sent a chat for them to start video. So got a couple people, I don't have their names. Do you have the oath for me?
I do, Becky.
Becky, could I have the oath for the jury board? Oh, Miss Ladd, you're back. Good. All right, so Miss Underwood, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Samantha Diane Ladd. We have 3 files, 22-20962FH and 23-21239FH and 23-21591FC. So Ms. Underwood, she was arraigned yesterday. She had asked for court-appointed counsel. We appointed you to represent her. We adjourned it to today because she does have a pending new case down in district court. We did verify she has a pretrial scheduled as well as a bond hearing. A bond hearing later in June, it sounded like. Is that correct, Ms. Walsh? Like June 25 or something?
The bond hearing is this afternoon, as I understand it.
Okay.
And
May 22nd is what the court computer says.
okay. And her bond is $500. She can probably make that. Miss Ladd is willing to be on a tether, house arrest, whatever the court would agree to, Your Honor, and feel comfortable with. But this is obviously a part of the violation, the new case. So we obviously cannot proceed on it with any sort of statement until that is resolved. So I would humbly ask the court to consider granting Ms. Ladd a PR bond with tether or any other provisions as far as testing or curfew or house arrest that the court feels comfortable with. And if Ms. Ladd squanders that, the jail is right there, Your Honor.
So Ms. Walsh, what I would propose, because she does have a small child, is basically house arrest. She can't leave her house, period, unless it's for an emergency. And there's no one to come to the house other than her and her family members. Do you think she would comply with that?
I do, but I would like her to get a job.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, she told me she refuses to put her daughter in daycare, so she wouldn't get a job. She's going to be on tether. I believe it's like $13 a day. I mean, and that's part of her probation, is to get a job and stop relying on other people. I was actually going to petition the court for a violation regarding that. So
Okay.
we can discuss that now, that she must, seek employment.
So Ms. Ladd, the allegations against you are for assaultive behavior, which technically, once you plead guilty or found guilty of, as I said yesterday, I could send you to prison for. And then your child's either going to end up with a family member or in foster care. Who knows what'll happen then. So you need to grow up and start making good choices. So I'm going to release you on a tether, and I'm going to order one, that you have no contact with, let me see, Monica Tincher or Nicole Van Aken, that you must get a job, and you're not to leave your home except for medical emergencies, your job, doctor's appointments, or probation. Do you understand? I can't hear you. Can you speak up for me? Nope. Well, I don't have audio on you for some reason, but I can say that I could read lips well enough that she did say, yes, ma'am. So for the record, she said, yes, ma'am. So Miss Underwood, I will release her on a tether and with those conditions. And let me see, we'll set this out. Miss Adams, I'm looking for a date, maybe the end of June, beginning of July.
Is this for a hearing or just another trial?
Another pre-trial. For the record, file number 23-21591 FC is not the file.
Who does she
If you get-
contact? She's got, they'll come to the jail, right? She's got to pay up front for the tether, I believe, before she's released.
Yep, and
I'm
Mr.
honestly not really
Coast,
sure.
I think Mr. Coast makes arrangements for that, so we'll notify Mr. Coast. Ma'am,
Okay.
if you get DHS funding, they do have a child care stipend, which is very good. So you
She
can
knows.
get
She's,
childcare.
she had that. She had that.
Okay.
She just told me she refuses to put her child in daycare.
So, Miss Adams,
Yep, we could do June 26th at 8:15 or 8:30.
all right, we'll do June 26th at 8:15. So, Miss Ladd, someone's going to have to prepay, and Mr. Coast, Becky, could you have Mr. Coast zoom in and I can put him in a breakout room with Miss Ladd and tell them your audio is not connected. They may need to call you back in because you're going to need to talk to Mr. Coast about a tether. All right. All right, I have someone who's called in on an iPhone. I'm sending you a request to unmute. Could you unmute your device, please?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. What is your name, please?
Eladio Martinez.
All right, I see you. Okay, so you might need to call back in from the jail. For some reason, when it does that, it only works if you call back in. Take the jury vote. Do you have the jury vote? Thanks, man. All right, Mr. Coast,
Good
I
morning,
have
Judge.
Samantha, good morning. I have Samantha Ladd and I'm releasing her on a tether today.
Okay,
So I was gonna put you in a breakout room with her to explain to her or maybe get her mom's number to expedite the process.
absolutely.
All right, Miss Ladd, can you say hi or something so I know you have audio? No, scoot up, maybe? Nope, can't hear you at all. No? Mr. Mendoza, I'm gonna put you in the waiting room and I'll bring you back in just a few minutes. For some reason, we don't have audio. Again, I don't know why, from the jail.
Darren, she's on probation with me.
Okay. If there's
So-
any, is there any requirements for the GPS or she can have any contact or?
Yep.
Yes.
There's no contact with, hold on a second, Monica Tincher, no contact with her, no contact with Nicole Van Aken. She's required to get employment. And other than medical emergencies, work, or court probation, she is not to leave her residence.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks. Here we go. Put her in a different jail Zoom. So let's see if that one works.
Darren, I'll send you the address from Miss Tincher.
Perfect.
So somebody at the jail needs to start audio and video. All right, I have, oh, she's not. All right, so Miss Escott, if you want to come up, I can take care of this real quick. So, if you just, yep, thank you. All right, so I think they can just answer I do, right? Okay, so can you both raise your right hand?
Can you hear us now?
Hold on at the jail. Yes, I can. Hold on one moment. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of jury board member according to the best of your ability? Mr. Wimple?
I do.
And Ms. Canabla? Very good. Thank you. So let me sign this and I will get you on your way.
Ms. Canabla, what's your first name? Yeah, I have your first name.
I'll get it.
Carol. Carol, thank you.
That's wrong one.
Yep, I know, thank you.
So, Ms. Escott, here you go. And welcome. Thanks. All right, so Miss Ladd, I am gonna pop you in a breakout room with Mr. Coast. And
Miss Ladd, you need to report to me today by 2 o'clock if you're released, okay?
okay.
And if not, you need to call me.
Well, I think she doesn't have a hearing. What time? I think she has a court date at 2 today, right?
Yeah, I have a bond
It's-
hearing at 1.
She's not
Okay,
gonna
the
get
court
out by
computer
2.
says the 22nd, which is tomorrow.
Well, I got a paper yesterday before I came upstairs. I
Okay.
might have the date wrong. I might have the date.
Okay, just call me when you get out, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Right, go ahead and join that breakout room, Mr. Coast and Miss Ladd. Okay, so I have a young lady in a vehicle. What
Yes.
is your name, please?
Samantha Brooks.
Samantha Brooks, all right. Miss Underwood, if you need to go down to Judge Olsavers, go ahead and do that and then come back, all right? Okay, so. No, I do not. All right, this is in the matter of Samantha April Brooks versus Filiberto Zamudio
Yes.
How do you pronounce that? Marquejo?
I honestly have no idea. I
It's
think it's
more-
like Marquise.
Morquecho.
Oh, okay.
Marquejo.
There
All
you
right,
go.
I'm sorry, Mr. Raines. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I pronounce Marquejo, right?
Morquecho.
Marquejo. All right, I have a difficult name, so I always try to pronounce everybody's name right. You know, all right, and I have Lowry Raines appearing on behalf of Mr. Zamudio Marquejo, and I also have Mark A. Brugman here from the Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office. This is the date and time scheduled for a motion for entry of order. Ms. Brooks has appeared via Zoom, and Mr. Raines' client is present with him in his office. So I'm going to start first with Ms. Brooks. Did you receive a copy of the proposed judgment of paternity and support?
Yes.
All right, and have you had an opportunity to read through it?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about the information in that judgment? Do you object either to the child support, custody, or parenting time?
No.
All right, Mr. Raines, on behalf of your client, obviously you reviewed it with your client, explained it to him. Are there any terms that he objects to?
Yes, Your Honor, we're agreeable to the joint legal custody, but we're objecting on the award of physical custody, also objecting as it relates to the parenting time and child support, and we would request respectfully referral to the front of the court on those issues.
All right, so Mr. Brugman, I have marked those boxes that the defendant has disputed those, and I will sign it. Is there anything else, Mr. Brugman?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Brooks and Mr. Zamudio Marquejo, you're going to receive a notice to appear from the front of the court's office. Your attorney, Mr. may or may not receive one, so make sure when you get it, you make sure you get a copy to Mr. Raines. Sometimes they go to both and sometimes they don't. Make sure that you both appear for that Zoom hearing, because it's usually via Zoom. And going forward, make sure you keep your address updated with Friend Court along with your employment. So if you don't get a notice of hearing in the mail in the next couple of weeks, reach out to Friend of the Court and double check that date. All right.
And Ms. Brooks, if you want to retain, this has become now a civil matter. And if you need to retain an attorney, if you want one, you need to retain an attorney to go to that hearing.
And Ms.
Okay,
Brooks, if you'd like to reach out to me, I'm interested in trying to see if a resolution could be reached. You can call me at my office if you're interested.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Raines, you're also on Lindaman White, so I'll take that one next.
I am, Your Honor. Thank you. I'm going to play musical chairs for a moment. I'll stop my video and audio just for a moment. Thank you.
Okay. What name is the case you're hearing? What's your name?
Josh Johnson. Laura Johnson.
Gotcha. Okay. Hold on. All right, Ms. Brooks, I'll help you on your way. All right, so. I do have Stephen White. Okay. All right, let's get Mr. White, if you could start your video and unmute your device, please.
Oh.
There you go. That's good. That's good. All right.
Okay.
So this is in the matter of Laura Lee Ella Lindaman versus Stephen Taylor White, file number 2024-51386DS. I have Mark A. Brugman appearing on behalf of the Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office, P66065. I also have Lowry Raines appearing on behalf of Laura Lee Ella Lindaman, who is present in his office. Mr. White is appearing via Zoom, as is Mr. Brugman. So, Mr. Raines, you and your client were able to review a proposed judgment of paternity and support. Is that correct?
We have, Your Honor, yes, and we have no objection to its entry as drafted.
Okay, so Mr. White, you also received a copy of the proposed judgment of paternity and support. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so do you understand that this proposed judgment grants Laura Lee Ella Lindaman sole physical custody of the minor child, and then it grants you both joint legal custody, and it sets child support at $165 a month and 50-50 parenting time. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it's joint legal custody. Okay. Do you have any objections to the entry of this proposed judgment?
No.
Okay, very good. All right, so I'm going to mark the box that at the time of entry of this judgment, neither party has disputed the custody order in the complaint. Going for, well, first of all, I'd like to commend you because you have worked out an agreement and look like you're going to have the ability to co-parent your child. And it's a hard thing to do, but I wish you the best of luck. Going forward, you need to make sure that every time you move, you come to the front of the court or mail in a change of address. So our address is always updated for you. And then anytime you change employment, you need to provide that information to the court as well. I've signed the proposed judgment and child support order. Mr. Brugman, is there anything else?
Your Honor, you indicated 50-50 parenting time. Was that, did they edit the order, or was that usually our standard order says parenting time at all times agreeable?
No, that's what you put in there, joint physical, joint legal. Oh, no, you know what? I'm sorry, there is an error in here. It gives her sole physical custody, but they have 50-50 parenting time. So wouldn't that be joint physical, Mr. Raines?
Your Honor, the judgment, I believe my reading of it is the same as Mr. Bergman. It is sole physical custody, joint legal custody. I believe, Your Honor, is maybe interpreting a shared physical from the child support recommendation, which reflects, I believe, 182 overnights for each parent. And my client has no objection with that calculation, but again, she's satisfied with the child support and the terms of the proposed judgment of paternity as drafted.
Okay, so Mr. White, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So Mr. White, are you currently, you guys are not a couple, correct?
Yes, that
You
is
are
correct.
a couple?
No, we're not.
Oh, okay. So Mr. White, I feel like it's always important that people understand this at this point, because if you don't object to it, it's a really hard thing to overcome in the future. So you and Miss Lindaman have agreed to basically a 50-50 parenting time schedule. Do you understand that?
Yes,
But this order grants her sole physical custody and then joint legal custody. Sole physical custody carries a lot of things, like she would be able to claim the child for taxes every year. She would have sole physical custody, which means that down the road, if something happens, you would have a higher burden to change. So you do not object to her having sole physical custody, even though you have equal parenting time?
no, that's fine.
Okay, all right, so I will sign those. Thank you for catching that, Mr. Bruggeman, and I wish you both the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So is everything all done here?
Yep, everything's all set. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, so Mr. Martinez, let me find you. Okay, Alicia Miller, I got her. Okay. All right, Miss Miller, can you hear me? All right, Mr. Martinez and Miss Miller, if you both can turn on your video and unmute your device for me, please. Mr. Martinez, are you there? I'm gonna move on. Well, there he is. Okay. All right, Mr. Martinez, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. This is is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
Alicia Miller versus Eladio Noel Martinez, file number 2024-51367DS. Both parties are present via Zoom. I have Mark A. Bregman, P66065, appearing on behalf of Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office. This is the date and time scheduled for a motion for entry of a judgment of paternity and support. Miss Miller, did you receive a copy of that in the mail?
Yes.
Did you review that did you review that and you understand all the terms?
Yeah.
All right, do you understand this grants you sole physical custody of the minor child, and the parties will have joint legal custody until further order of the court, and parenting time is at all times agreeable. Child support is set at $106 a month. And parenting time is 182. Okay, hold on. I'm going to take a recess. I'll be right back. I know. I'll be right back. So I'm back. All right, so Mr. Brugman, I'm having a couple issues with this one and the last one. So Miss Miller, this is set up that you and Mr. Martinez have each 182 overnights, 0.5 overnights. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Miss Miller, yes. So you and Mr. Martinez share parenting time 50-50. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a presumption, and we always have, so that if you have shared parenting time, you have joint physical custody as well, and joint legal custody. So this order grants you sole physical custody. And let me talk about that. Sole physical custody benefits you in small ways, not not great big ways, but it allows you to claim for taxes, possibly head of household. It allows you to make decisions in certain respects that Mr. Martinez would not be able to be involved in. But Mr. Martinez is exercising 50-50 parenting time. Our presumption is always that that is joint physical custody. So ma'am, do you have any questions about that, or do you agree to joint physical and joint legal?
I mean, I feel like everything is all times agreeable, but I do have them most of the time.
So is he not exercising 50% of overnight parenting time?
No.
So Mr. Martinez, you're awarded in here, child support is calculated at 182.5 overnights. Do you think, so Miss Miller is stating that you don't actually exercise that, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what do you think you're actually exercising?
I have them I pick them up every day from daycare and school. I have them until she gets out of work, and then she comes and gets them.
How many overnights are you exercising? Because that's what we actually count.
Not a lot.
Okay, so Mr. Brugman, I'm gonna refer this down to front of the court.
That's fine. Basically, the history of it is that this is a situation where we get the referral, and then at times they would say that they are together, and then other times they would say that they are not together. So
that's fine, Mr. Brugman. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm just gonna mark that that plaintiff disputes the parenting time because she's saying he doesn't actually have them 182.5 nights. So that'll impact child support and whatever else. So I've signed that. So both of you are going to receive in the mail a notice of hearing to appear for a referee hearing with instructions on how to do that. That is via Zoom. And make sure you both appear for that, bring any documentation they request. They'll do a hearing, and based on the testimony at that hearing, they will issue a new order. Make sure going forward that you keep your address updated with front of the court so that mail is received by you. And then make sure that anytime you gain new employment, you provide that information as well. All right. Okay, I wish you the best of luck. Mr. Brugman no longer is involved in this case. So if you wish to have counsel present at that hearing, you would need to retain them. Thank you both. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
That was.
All right, so let me get my last one in, Mr. Brugman. All right, now let's see, Alexis Malone. So Mr. Flores Johnson, why don't you come up to the podium? All right, stand at the podium. This is in the matter of Alexis Anne Marie Malone versus Joshua Lewis Johnson. Flores Johnson, right? You go by Flores Johnson or Johnson?
Flores Johnson.
Okay. File number 2000, and so Mr. Bruggeman, his name, is it hyphened?
Yes, ma'am.
His last name is not just Johnson, it's Flores hyphen Johnson.
Right.
All right, so this is the date and time scheduled for a motion for entry of order. Ms. Malone is appearing via Zoom and Mr. Flores Johnson is appearing in person. And Mark A. Brugman, P66065, appearing as the prosecutor in this matter. So we have a proposed order that grants Alexis Malone sole physical custody and then the parties joint legal custody with parenting time at all times agreeable. And child support is calculated with Mr. Flores Johnson having 0 overnights. Do you not have overnights with this child?
No, I have never even, I've seen him probably twice, met him once.
Okay, so, child support is calculated at, so we got $281 a month for one child. So Miss Malone, have you had an opportunity to read through this proposed judgment?
Yes.
Do you disagree with any of the terms of this proposed judgment?
No, not necessarily. The only thing I would say, like with agreeable visitation, is I would like supervised visitation if all possible.
Okay, so, all right. So what I'm going to do is say that you've disputed the custody and parenting time provision, and then that'll get referred to a friend of the court. I can't order that today, but a friend of the court referee could if they determine that it's necessary, okay? But that would be up to the referee. So, sir, she's objecting to those terms. Are you objecting as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark that you both disputed those terms. So going forward, you will receive a notice of hearing from front of the court for a referee hearing. I think most of them are via Zoom and they have those instructions. If you're not able to appear via Zoom, just let the front of the court know. They'll send out a request, they'll give you directions on what paperwork you need to bring and so forth. Make sure you bring those documents with you and make sure going forward, you keep your employment updated with the front of the court as well as your address, and that must be done in writing to front of the court. All right, so ma'am, do you have any questions?
No.
Sir? All right, very good. Keep an eye out for that front of the court notice of hearing. If you don't get it in the next couple of weeks, make sure you call and check that date. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That one. Let's see, Mr. Brugman. I have. Stop this. Hold on, sir. I'll be right with you. I think we have 2 more. Right, Mr. Brugman, I just have 2 more for you. All right. So I have somebody named Stephanie. Can you state your full name for me, please?
Stephanie Pate.
Okay. Miss Adams, is Miss Pate scheduled for tomorrow? What are you here for, Miss Pate?
For my son's hearing.
What's his?
For
Yep.
Malcolm.
Hold on. Nope. Yep. Hold on, Miss Pate. I'm going to put you in the waiting room. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So in the matter of Brittany Raquel Coley versus Jamie Allen Vanzo, this is the date and time on file number 24-51483DS for a motion for entry of judgment of paternity and support. Mr. Brugman is appearing on behalf of Lenawee County Prosecutor's Office. There's proper proof of service in the file showing on April 15th. Notice of today's hearing as well as the proposed paternity and support order were mailed to the parties. Mr. Brugman, these matters were set for 8:15 this morning. It is now 8:56. Neither party has prepared or appeared. So I will sign those documents and they will be admitted. Anything else, Mr. Brugman, on this one?
No, Your Honor.
matter of Julie Ann Mendenhall versus Eric Douglas Archer, file number 24-51534DS. This is the date and time scheduled for a motion for entry of order, and Mark A. Brugman appearing on behalf of the London County Prosecutor's Office. Proper proof of service was in the, or we have proof of service that copies of the motion and notice of hearing were mailed out on April 29th of 24. Neither party has appeared. So, Mr. Brugman, I will sign and enter these orders. Is there anything else on this file, Mr. Brugman?
No, Your Honor.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Brugman. I believe that concludes our docket.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Miss Adams, could you see if Mr. McFarland, David McFarland, is available to speak with me this morning?
Okay.
So. All right, are you Aaron Webb?
Christopher Webb. Christopher Aaron Webb.
Christopher Aaron Webb.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Christopher Aaron Webb, file number 23-21230FH. So, Mr. Webb, we are here on a motion affidavit and bench warrant for failure to appear at a circuit court pretrial on August 9th of 2023. Mr. Webb, a couple things. One, a contempt of court for failure to appear carries up to 93 days in jail and or a $2,500 fine. And then your underlying offense, which is still pending, which is second offense, possession of methamphetamine, as well as operating with license suspended, and then a habitual offender second offense. That case is still pending. I'm not sure if there's been absconding charges issued on that, so I can't tell you that at this point. You were represented by John Glazier on the underlying file, and you do have and I'm going to set that for a pretrial this Wednesday, but you also have a right to have an attorney represent you on this contempt of court. If you can't afford to hire one, we will appoint you one at public expense. Would you like an attorney appointed to represent you on this file?
Yes, yes.
All right, Mr. Webb, do you want me to set both of these over for Wednesday for your attorney to be present?
Yes, and yes, please.
All right, okay, so I'm gonna end.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Webb.
I just wanted
I'm sorry,
to
did you?
I had a heart attack not that long ago, Ms. Aslam.
Hold on. So I appreciate that, but I don't want you to say anything now that you've asked for an attorney. I don't want you to say anything on the record that might affect your case.
Okay.
If you have a health issue,
I do.
currently, I will tell you, hold on, don't. I will tell you that the jail will reach out to me. You know, they always reach out to me if there's some risk involved in being in custody. Would you like to speak to a court-appointed attorney today?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Webb, I'm gonna change your Zoom screen name, and then Miss Underwood went to Judge Olsavers. So, and I'll also see if Mr. Glazier is available, but Miss Underwood handles my pickups. And then, when she gets back, I will bring you back in the courtroom, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna change your screen name, and then I'm gonna put you in the waiting room, and maybe it'll be about 10 minutes or so, okay? Okay, I'm gonna stop the live stream and close the courtroom.